sit down and take a minute and watch this video and think to yourself, whatever it is that you do, whether you're an internet marketer, whether you're an athlete, a teacher, whatever it is that you do, just sit down and think for a second, what can I do to be better than I am now? How can I become an expert in my field? And it's really not as hard as you think. Now, for those of you who are in the same profession, industry as myself, internet marketers and network marketers, home-based business people, and this pertains to anyone really, but I just like to narrow it down to my particular niche for this example. The first thing that you can do to become an expert in your field is to read more. Now, if you're reading already, that's good, but you need to be reading more. You need to be trying to learn how to figure out how you can read faster, because the faster you read, I don't want to say the faster you read, the easier it is, the more content you take in, because if you're not comprehending what it is that you're reading, then it's all being done in vain. But if you learn how to read faster and comprehend what you're reading in the process, then that's a automatic win-win. And you have to strategize on what you read about, like because there's lots of sub niches or subtopics in every profession, but you have to narrow it down to what is the things that are most necessary for me to be effective. If you're a salesperson, then obviously one of the most important things for you to be effective is building rapport and using your phone skills. So that's what you should study on. And then two, drive time. What do you do in your drive time, your downtime, when you're traveling, when you're going from place A to B? Are you listening to the radio, or are you just driving in silence, or are you taking that time and utilizing that time to actually listen to material that is going to propel you towards what it is that you want to accomplish? Are you listening to sales material while you drive? Are you listening to prospecting material while you drive, or are you listening to Tupac and Eminem while you drive? And nothing against Tupac and Eminem. I like music. I used to listen to music all the time until it was instilled upon me that I should be using my time to listen to personal development material, because even if it feels like it's not making a difference, those concepts and those principles are being instilled and embedded into your subconscious mind, even when you think that they aren't. And the more that you put this type of stuff into your mind, you'll notice that it starts to come out, and it flows out a lot more fluently when you speak and when you talk and things of that nature. So drive time is absolutely another critical factor in you becoming an expert in your field. The next thing is the 80-20 rule, understanding the 80-20 rule. Some people call it the Pareto principle, I believe it's called. But what the 80-20 rule is all about is that 80% of people typically do, no, I'm sorry, 20% of people typically do 80% of all the work. Same situation with finances. It's said that about 20% of the people in society make 80% of the money. So with that said, that means that out of all the money in the entire country that's being made, there's only 20% of the people in the entire country, and they're getting almost all of the money to themselves. So that leaves 80% of society to fight over the crumbs of the 20% of the income that remains for 80% of the people in the country. Now, if you can grasp that concept, what you need to understand is that you want to be in the 20 percentile. You want to be in the 20 percentile range. You don't want to be one of the 80% that's scrounging for crumbs left over by the 20 percenters. You want to be a 20 percenter yourself. And the way that you get yourself in that position is by doing what I just told you to do, by reading and utilizing as much of your downtime as possible to feed your brain with information that can take you to the next level. Now, with that said, if you're a professional, then you probably already know about these concepts and everything. But prior to me getting started in internet marketing, I used to spend a lot of time researching, and I was constantly looking for different things I could do to make money, but I was not actually taking action. I almost got caught up in the process of research. And then one day, I finally decided that I was going to make the jump. I was going to step on the ledge and I was going to make the jump. And I stood there for a long time. I can remember the first day that I actually started my business that I'm in now. I was on the page and I was getting ready to sign up, and I had filled in all my information. I had my credit card information there and everything, and the only thing that was left for me to do was click the submit button. But all these emotions came over me, and I started to see this picture in my mind of my bank account going in overdraft and the company shutting down because it wasn't legit or it was a scam. And then I started to hear these voices in my mind saying, you're not going to be able to do this. You don't know what to do. You're not going to be any good at this. What makes you think you can succeed on the internet? And then too, it's just the feeling came over me, and I had this feeling that if I don't do it, that it could be even worse than what could happen if I did do it. So it felt to me like taking action outweighed the risks of not taking action. And I'm so glad that I did, because within I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks, I had my first true breakthrough on the internet, and I made $1,497 in one day on the internet. So never be afraid to step out on the ledge and try something new. With that said, if you're ready to try something new, I encourage you to click on the link below this video and see what it is that I do, how I made $1,500 in one day on the internet. And if it makes sense to you, then get involved. If not, that's fine too. But I just wanted to throw that out there so you guys know that there are different things out there available to you to make a lasting impression on your finances. So with that said, I hope you got some value out this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should see the subscribe button down there somewhere. And also, you can follow me on Facebook by going to joinmyfanpage.com, and you can catch me over there as well. And with that said, I'm pretty much done with this video. Like I said, as always, I hope you got some type of value from what I shared with you in this video. So I'm going to talk to you guys on another video. I will see you guys next time.